Hello and welcome to Morning Constitution, the podcast where we're going to explore the entire United States Constitution, one section at a time. I'm your host, Joel Hawksley, and I'm thrilled to embark on this journey with you. Just whether you're a history buff, a student, or just curious about the foundation of American government, you've come to the right place. Now, in this first episode, what we're going to do is we're going to set the stage by providing an overview of the Constitution. And we're going to delve into the historical context and the significance. So let's get started. The Constitution of the United States is more than just a document. Now, it's the bedrock of the American democracy. Adopted September 17th, 1787, and ratified by the required 9 states by June 21st, 1788, the Constitution has been the supreme law of the land for over 2 centuries. But what exactly is the Constitution? In essence, it's the framework for government, outlining the national government structure, its functions, and limits. It's also the living document that has evolved over time through amendments and judicial interpretation. Let's break it down. The Constitution is organized into 3. Did I do that? Right. 3 main parts: the preamble, the articles, and the amendments. Now, first, the preamble. So the preamble is the opening statement that outlines the purpose of the document. It reads, "We the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, and secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our posterity. Do ordain and establish this Constitution for the United States of America." This powerful sentence encapsulates the foundational goals and principles of the Constitution. Next, we have the articles. There are 7 articles in total. Article 1, I'm going to change this for you guys so that you can actually see this while I talk about it. Article 1 establishes the legislative branch, Congress, which is responsible for making law. Now, Article 2 creates the executive branch, led by the President of the United States, responsible for enforcing laws. Now, Article 3 sets up the judicial branch, including the Supreme Court, responsible for interpreting law. Article 4 addresses the relationship between states and the federal government, which is very important. Article 5 outlines the process for amending the Constitution. Article 6 contains the Supremacy Clause, establishing the Constitution, federal laws, and treaties as the supreme law of the land. Article 7 details the process for ratification of the Constitution. It might be too small to read, but it's more of a guide. But finally, there's the amendments. Now, the Constitution has been amended 27 times to address issues ranging from individual rights to procedural changes in government operations. The first 10 amendments are known as the Bill of Rights. They were ratified in 1791 and guarantee fundamental liberties such as freedom of speech, religion, and the press, and protection against unreasonable search and seizure. To truly appreciate the Constitution, we need to understand the historical context in which it was created. The late 18th century was a time of great upheaval and transformation. The American colonies had declared independence from Britain in 1776. But the road to forming a unified nation was fraught with challenges. The initial government document, the Articles of Confederation, it proved inadequate. It created a weak central government that struggled to address national issues such as defense, trade, and most importantly, interstate conflicts. By the mid-1780s, it was totally clear that a stronger, more effective national government was necessary. In 1787, delegates from 12 of the 13 states, and I did say that correctly, 12 of the 13 states, because Rhode Island abstained. They convened in Philadelphia for what became known as the Constitutional Convention. The goal was to revise I'll put this. So again, in 1787, delegates from 12 of the 13 states convened in Philadelphia for what became known as the Constitutional Convention. And the goal was to revise the Articles of Confederation. But the delegates quickly decided to draft an entirely new document. The convention was a hotbed of debate and compromise, with figures like George Washington, James Madison, Benjamin Franklin, and Alexander Hamilton playing crucial roles. So James Madison, often called the father of the Constitution, he arrived at the convention with a clear vision of a new government structure. It was called the Virginia Plan. So his Virginia Plan proposed a strong central government with three branches: legislative, executive, and judicial. Now, this plan became the blueprint for the final document, though it underwent significant revision. One of the most significant debates was over the representation in Congress. The larger states favored proportional representation, while the smaller states wanted equal representation. This conflict led to the Great Compromise, which established a bicameral legislature, with the House of Representatives based on population and the Senate providing equal representation for all states. Another major issue was the question of slavery. The delegates ultimately agreed to what's called a 3/5 compromise, which counted 3/5 of the enslaved population for both representation and taxation purposes. Now, this compromise while deeply flawed and morally troubling, was pragmatic solution to ensure the Constitution's adoption. After months of intense debate, the final draft of the Constitution was signed on September 17th, 1787. But the journey didn't end there. The document required ratification by 9 of the 13 states. This sparked heated public debate between Federalists who supported the Constitution and Anti-Federalists who opposed it. The Federalist Papers, a series of essays written by Alexander Hamilton, James Madison, and John Jay, played a crucial role in persuading the public and the states to adopt the new Constitution. These essays explained and defended the principles of the Constitution, highlighting the need for a strong central government while assuring the individual liberties would be protected. By June 21st, 1788, New Hampshire became the 9th state to ratify the Constitution, ensuring its adoption. The new government began operation on March 4th, 1789, when George Washington inaugurated as the first president on April 30th, 1789. So why is the Constitution significant? That's a slide ago. So why is the Constitution so significant? Because beyond its historical importance, the Constitution serves as a model of governance and a symbol of democracy. Its principle of separation of powers, checks and balances, and federalism have influenced countless other nations in crafting their own governments. And when I say democracy, I want people to understand, I'm talking about truly, we're not a democracy. We're a constitutional republic. So when you say, why is the Constitution significant? Because it is what gives us our representation. And then democracy is how we get there. And we're going to find that out throughout this document. So the word democracy is thrown around an awful lot, but it's thrown around in an inconsistent way. So I want to make sure when you hear me say democracy, I'm not talking about our form of government. Moreover, the Constitution's ability to adapt and evolve has been crucial to its longevity. The amendment process allows for changes that reflect the needs and values of different eras, so ensuring the document remains relevant over time. Now, the Bill of Rights and the subsequent amendments have expanded and clarified the rights of individuals. It's promoting justice and equality. Landmark Supreme Court cases have interpreted the Constitution in ways that have shaped American society, from ending segregation to protecting freedom of speech. As we explore the Constitution over the next 52 episodes, we're going to dive really deep into its articles, sections, and amendments, uncovering the nuances and stories behind each part. We'll look at how this remarkable document has been interpreted and applied, and how it continues to shape the United States today. Well, I'd like to thank you for joining me in this inaugural episode of Morning Constitution. I hope this overview has given you a solid foundation and sparked your curiosity about the United States Constitution. Now be sure to tune in next Thursday at 9 o'clock for our next episode, where we'll dive into the preamble and explore its powerful words and enduring impact. Now, if you enjoyed today's episode, please subscribe, rate, and review the podcast. And I hope it only gets better from here. Your support helps us reach more listeners and continue our journey through the Constitution. You can also follow us on social media for updates and additional content. And if you have any questions or maybe topics you'd like to cover, feel free to reach out. Until next time, I'm Joel Hawksley, and this has been the Morning Constitution.